Okay, go.
This is what happens, not trying to be quote-unquote religious, when you basically want to run from the Most High King. You understand? The scriptures, Deuteronomy 28 is the only record of the ancient world to tell the two brothers there is no ziggurat inscription that speaks about what will happen with the people if they broke the laws, the statutes, and the commandments of their God and Maker. You understand? Deuteronomy 28 is the record of that. So, another issue is that all black people, all melanated people, all people of color did not come out of Kemet. The people that we call the Egyptians actually came from another land by Uganda and migrated north. And the book of Ezekiel, chapter 29, talks about that, where it says the land of Patros, even the land of their origin. You see, that being in the southern part, south of where the Sudan is. So we have to know and understand that all black people did not come from what they call the Nile Valley civilization. Neither did ancient Egypt claim all of Artibalan or Africa. How you know that is because you got the record that happened with Senusrit, the wars that he had in reference with the people of the Ethiopians. Then you got the record of what happened with Thutmose I. Then you have the record of what happened with King Tut. Then you have the record of what happened before that with King Senefru and the Nubians in Dynasty 4. So, and once you see, this is what happens, not trying to sound arrogant, the average Kemetic scholar doesn't go into the history of it. They give you a romanticized version of Kemet, a Europeanized version of it. You understand, an Eric Ortberg version of it, a James H. Breasted version of it, without giving you the actual hard-creep evidence of it itself. And so when the Kemet train doesn't work, they got to now try to jump over the Kush. Then they got to go to the Nook. Then they got to go to this people or that people. Example. Then when the debate that the brother Nasi had, the guy he debated back in 2013 in a building in Harlem, he said, y'all can have Egypt, I'm going to go to Nubia. You playing hopscotch. And that's what you got to do when you're running from the Most High King. They say that Khufu has his pyramid, but Yah created the heavens and the earth and held the earth for nothing. The power that you're talking about is what? Really? Okay, now, one of the other things to talk about is they're trying to sit there and denounce the Most High King of Israel. When you look at what is referred to, brothers and sisters, in your own time, as the Yahweh of the Shasu, you understand? When you go in that book entitled Egypt, Canaan, and Israel by Radford, he speaks about that. Where actually what they had in Dynasty 18, they speak about the Yahweh of the Shasu, or Shasu, the people of Yahweh. You understand? And well, basically Shasu is an Egyptian term meaning those who move on foot. So that's why a lot of people are saying that the Shasu were part of the Israelites that was moving on foot when they was escaping out of the land of Egypt. You understand? Now that right there is very important to let it be noted and understood, because that is talking about Amenhotep III, which is before the time of Akhenaten. So if the people noted as the Israelites in history was in Egypt prior to the time of Akhenaten, we have to then begin to ask, why are people trying to focus on Akhenaten? It's because they try to sit there and pick the weaker of all black civilizations and promote that person up. Akhenaten was not a good help to his people. When the people were talking about sending help because the Kabiru or the Hebrews were attacking in the Amarna records, Akhenaten did not go and help the people. Now, when they try to sit there and ask Israelites, okay, can you dig up the grave of such and such? First off, it's not Israelite custom to dig up the graves of anyone. As a matter of fact, to show you how unbiased the Bible is, one of the things that the Most High spoke about the people of Moab or Ammon is because they dig up the bones of the king of Esau when you go to the book of Amos, chapter 2 and chapter 3. You understand? So you was never in the ancient Shemitic culture, certainly the ancient Hebrew culture, to go and dig up the dead of Moses, of Abraham, of Isaac, or Jacob. We believe, know and understand to let our ancestors rest in peace. You understand? We teach that when you got to go and sit there and conjure up the dead, it's basically you have what Shaul, or that is to say Saul, had, an evil spirit of the Most High, where Yah, the Creator, departed from you, was not answering you in dreams, did not send you no prophets, and so therefore you had to try to find necromancy as a way for you to sit there and get some spiritual enlightenment. Let the ancestors rest in peace. Stop going over and pouring libations on Harriet Tubman's tomb. Stop it. The lady died at 93 years old with pneumonia. She needs to rest in peace, okay? So let that be noted and understood.
Can I say something real quick on that subject? Brother. Briefly, I don't want to take the time that you're speaking, but it's a moot argument, because when I asked a brother on the Kemetic side since bodies are so important, Let's start with the first dynasty of Egypt. I said, show me one. I said, show me a body from dynasty 2. 1 or 2. The prophet laughed and didn't answer. You know why? Because they don't have the bodies for dynasty 1 or 2. Why? Because pyramid building began in dynasty number 3. So the first 2 dynasties in Egypt, you have no bodies. So you definitely cannot use that as a litmus test for whether somebody existed or not, because if that's the case, then there was no pharaohs in the first or second dynasty. That's all a myth.
Correct. Now, even after that, to collaborate what you're saying, you're not going to find the tomb of Imhotep. You're not going to find the tomb of Amenemhet IV. You're not going to find the tomb of Neferhotep I. And you're not going to find the tomb of Dudimos. Now, most people into the Kemetic side that I spoke to, not to sound arrogant, they never heard of Neferhotep or Dudimos. They're like, who? What? That's because Dr. Such and Such did not go into that. Dr. Such and Such did not go into the Rhine Papyrus. They did not go into the Westcott Papyrus. And so when Israelites bring that out, they now got to say, well, y'all should stick it to the Bible. How you going to go over there? And they try to control how another grown man speaks. No, you never took the time out. While you're saying that, okay, you want to sit there and deal with the Bible. And this is where logic has to come into play. If the Bible came out of Kemet, and you're claiming Kemet, then show me, and I did this when I was I could go there, BMCC, which is a college in Chambers, by Chambers Street in Manhattan. I asked one of the people who work in the school there, if you could show me, let's go down the line, the Sabbath, Passover, the day of the blowing of the trumpets, Shemini Atzeret, or the 8th day solemn assembly, the day of atonement, the 10th day of the 7th month, the Feast of Booths. If you could show me any of those days inside of a Kemetic teaching, then I have to sit there and acquiesce to what you're saying. Tacitus, the Roman historian, is noted for saying that the difference between the Hebrew people and the Egyptians is that the Hebrew people on the 7th day, they just do nothing. Like these Ayuda, or the Jews, to use the term loosely, that Tacitus saw in the 1st century AD was like, y'all do nothing on what we, the Romans, call Saturday? That's another thing, because some people like to sit there and talk about the lunar Sabbath or this Sabbath or that. Israelites go hard once it comes down to that. You ain't never heard Shabbat Hotep, and you're not going to hear it. It's not the culture of the people of Kemet. Now, to get there and deal with this very intensely, you're not going to sit there, brothers and sisters, and find, and I quote, when you go into the record of Dynasty 20, Ramses had people killed and their ears chopped off for digging up the tombs. Dynasty 20 was so poor in Egypt, the people raided the tombs to get gold for money so they can buy things. When the pharaohs at that time found out what was going on, they had some of those people put to death. So my point is this: when you go into what they call the Papyrus Ani, what they call the principles of Ma'at, I have not violated the deceased. But you're showing a meme on Facebook saying my ancestors have their own museum. So let me understand this, brother and sister. They dig up the dead, and then you go and pay the money, the funny money, which is, they tell you on money, this note is legal tender because they can't really call it money. All right, that's a whole nother subject. We ain't going that far. But you pay that you worked for at a job that you probably had to clock into to go and see your dead ancestor. And if you're comfortable with that, that's the problem. Because there's a problem with that situation. To go and look for the dead, to sit there and say in the museum, oh yeah, that looks like me. Now you got a problem, because when they did the mummifications with King Tutankhamun or King Tut of Dynasty 18, they was able to sit there and make the nose look European. So now you got white scholars saying that King Tut was white. So now you got an argument, but had you let the dead rest in peace, Dr. Ben, you would have not had that problem.
That's right.
You do not sit there and deal with that. As a matter of fact, even when you go into the tomb of Seti of Dynasty 19, did you know people got hurt trying to get into there because the way the ancient Egyptians had it set up, they had a booby trap so that way nobody could go into that tomb. When you sit there and hear about them talking about we're going to put the gold in there for their afterlife, they took their culture serious. This is why Tutmosis the first had built what you call the Valley of the Kings and the Valley of the Queens. And he was one of the first pharaohs to be buried in there that was living during its construction. They did not play with that. This commercial nonsense that they got going on now in the so-called Kemetic community, y'all disrespecting that ancient culture, man. I spoke about this, and usually once it comes down to that subject, the conversations are online or in person, it changes or it gets quiet or well, you can't sit there and prove no one in the Bible. Okay, let's go there real quick while we got the time. Let's go to an external source. Shalmaneser III spoke about Jehu, king of Israel. Sennacherib of Assyria, the same one who beat up the Egyptians and beat up the tribe of Judah in the land of Lachish, and also had Tahaka running for his life at one point. He spoke about Hezekiah, the king of Judah. Tacitus, we already went over, spoke about the Israelites. Ptolemy the first, or Ptolemy Soter, as he called himself, spoke about the Israelites. Ptolemy the second, Philadelphia, spoke about the Israelites. You have it to where other nations spoke about the Israelites. When you go into the record of King Jehoiakim in the land of Babylon, it says, for the food of Yahukimu of Yehudu. Yehudu is Yehuda, Yahwadah, whatever pronunciation you want to have of Judah. So there are other external records that confirm the scriptures. So the understanding that people have or they try to come with is emphatically incorrect.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We're going to do a part 2, King. We're definitely going to do a part 2 because I know you can just, you flow like water, King. It flows like water, you know what I'm saying? Any final closing words and, let the people know how they can reach out to you, whatever. I know you're on Facebook, so forth and so on.
No problem. I keep an open Facebook thing. My email, if you're interested, is moreone@yahoo.com. I'll spell it. MOREHONE. More1. One word, obviously, for Yahoo. More1@yahoo.com. Or you can look up Kashub Danite. KASHUB Danite. DANITE. And you will see Hebrew letters coming up, and that'll be my Facebook page. So that's 2 different ways in which to reach me. But certainly want to sit there and the point in this on my personal end, blessed be the Most High, and I don't mean to blow up nobody's name, is the guy Seti. I saw him when I was 29. He said, there is no nation called Israel. I'm like, hold on. My mommy taught me I was from the 12 tribes when I was 4 years old. Did you mean to sit there and tell me she told a lie? No. So if we're not that, and you're saying that the people plagiarized, but then they never existed, how can the people who never existed be charged with plagiarism?
It's the facts.
Shalom.
Shalom, man. Well, just for the record, what do you do for a living?
Okay, I am a part-time teacher. Due to not to be too personal, due to not having my master's degree as of yet, inside of a college over in New York City, community college.
Excellent, excellent. So you work in a college, so that
Correct.
means you're around quite a few books, and that's where you get a lot of information from.
Yes.
Beautiful thing, King.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Like the Oxford book.
Excellent, beautiful. All right, man. So we'll be interviewing again, man. Most High blessed, man, and we do appreciate all the information. I'm sure the people at home learned a lot. They might want to rewind this video and go back and play it and write down and take notes, man. All right?
Bless.
All right, shalom.
Shalom.